Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Bull City Hangout 624. I'm Pat Murray. I publish the Durham Skywriter, that's Durham, North Carolina's online community paper, which you can read at durhamskywriter.com. Sorry, I'm a half hour late. I'm a little heartbroken. I went to APS Durham and gave away some little stray kittens that I've been feeding. I wanted to give them a better chance at life. So the show is dedicated to Galway and her kittens. But anyway, okay. So let's get started. So with school tools, I always start out with school tools because it is lunchtime. And if you're having a hard time feeding your youngsters, young people ages 18 and under can get free boxed lunches from these schools, which I will read off right now. And adults can get non-perishable food supplies. So you have until 1:30 to get to Burton. Oh, wait, wrong list. That's the correct list, yes. Burton, Lakeview, Shepherd, Southern High School, or Southwest Elementary. The addresses can be found right here on the school tools page. You go to durhamskywriter.com, scroll down or click on school tools. And let me tell you about this partnership. I've been telling you about Chicken Hut's partnership with Healthy Start Academy, where you can go through the line, get a wonderful buffet lunch from Chicken Hut. But if you are in need, and again, it's hard to feed your kids, the folks from Healthy Start Academy have been allowed to sit right there in the lobby of Chicken Hut and give away boxed lunches for people in need, for their kids. All right, so be sure to do that. You have until between like 1:30-ish, 2-ish, because it's while supplies last. All righty, and let's see. What else is happening with school tools? Yes, Moorhead Planetarium. They have Moorhead at Home, where if you want to learn about science, you can do so from the, from your laptop, your iPad, whatever. So they have Moorhead at Home, and tomorrow's activity from 10 until 10:30 is Life and Death of a Star. That should be really interesting. So you can watch a video, and they will probably answer some questions, or at least give you a little tour using photos taken through the Hubble Space Telescope. Yes, awesome. Now let's go to the word page real quick. That is the nonprofit and governmental information page. I just want to mention two things. The city has a water hardship fund for people who have fallen behind with their water bill due to loss of job or whatever. So read everything that you need to know on the word page for Durham Skywriter. You can get help for up to $240. That should really help. That should help in a big way. One more thing I wanted to mention on the on the DSS, on the word page, is that DSS has emergency funding for people who have fallen behind on their rent or mortgage due to COVID-19. There's some, you have to jump through a few hoops and, qualify and all that sort of thing, but you can get some really, really great help from DSS. Go to the word page for information on that. Alrighty, senior scope page. Now, actually, this is not even in the Durham Skywriter yet. I'm going to add this as soon as I'm done here. I got a phone call this morning announcing there's going to be a car parade at the Durham Center for Senior Life, which is, downtown. So you can enter, I believe they said, on Mangum and then exit. Anyway, let me just tell you, it's going to be a car parade from 10 until noon, and they're going to be giving away food, ice cream, all right, and some supplies. I think maybe hygiene supplies. I can't remember what they said completely, but they're going to be giving away supplies. If you're in need of anything, just at least stop by and see what you can get. So from 10 until noon, it's going to be a car parade at the Durham Center for Senior Life. Of course, when I add this to the Durham Skywriter, it's going to be on the Senior Scope page, and I will have the details that you need. All right, and let's go to the Garden Shed page. Garden Shed. Now today, this is happening actually right now as we speak. They are, I believe, selling Victory Garden kits. This is for young people who want to try their hands at growing food. This is the Durham County 4-H Club. We're going to be talking with Perry Kernodle from the Durham County Cooperative Extension. She can give you the address and everything. She's not involved with 4-H, but still, we're going to talk with her and find out of the wonderful things that's going on with the Cooperative Extension. But these gardening kits, you can pick them up today only from 9 until 5. So only until 5 o'clock. You can probably call. The phone number is listed in Durham Skyrider on the Garden Shed page. All righty. I think you have to make an order first. So everything that you need can be found on the Garden Shed page. Last but not least, we're going to go to the Let's Go page, the calendar of events. There's a couple of items to read. Let's see. I think Fit with Mommy Lou's today because, after all, today is Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Fit with Mommy Lou. Wednesday, Friends Day, Dance for Relief. That is tonight, 6 until 6:35. Throw off your stress, have some fun. It's a free event. It's a Zoom event. It's free, but if you can donate $3 or more, that will be donated. She donates to a different charity every week. So you don't have to, but if you can, I know she'd appreciate it. One more item, Action NC. They're hosting an online panel discussion, Healthcare Disparities in Black and Brown Communities. That is tonight, 6 until 7. They'll be talking about the need for another COVID-19 relief package, racial barriers related to opportunities and coronavirus, and the Heroes Cares Act. So anyway, you can get your questions answered and just check it out. It's going to be tonight, 6 until 7. The link is on the Let's Go page. And now, let's bring on Peggy. Oh, real quick. Weather report, 82 and sunny, going up to 87. Tomorrow, going up to 80. And we might have an afternoon thunderstorm. Let's see what's going on with Peggy Kernodle real quick. Okay. Peggy Kernodle, how are you?
Hey, I am fine. And yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad you're here. I haven't seen you in a while.
It has been a while. It has been a while. As you were giving the weather report, I couldn't help but have to add to that. The pollen count's low today, so a good time to get out and walk.
Yes, absolutely. Before it gets super hot, because it's going up to 87. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and just to add, I know you were trying to get in touch with Mac, and that didn't work for today. But I have a phone number that if people want more information about those, they could.
Thank you.
It's 919 402 3255.
Thank you. I didn't have that number. Thank you so much.
Well, this is not Mac's number, but she's working with Mac on getting those distributed. So might be a good time to get some details.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
So what's going? Oh, the address it's 728 Foster Street, right?
721.
721.
It's directly across from the Central Park School.
Okay, awesome. So what's happening with the cooperative extension? I can't imagine everybody's in their offices from 9 to 5, are they?
No, we're working remotely and then going in periodically. For example, the diaper bank, if you will, or Welcome Baby, they give away some materials, equipment, as well as diapers and some food. So they're there on Fridays. So that would be something else to check into. But
I will definitely do that.
If someone's been there for Welcome Baby, as they go around to the back, that's the same building that we're in. They're part of Cooperative Extension now.
Okay, and they have diapers. Okay, that's really, really good to know. I've noticed them online, giving information, and they're pretty active, it seems.
Yeah, and
online.
We need to be registered to pick that up. We want to help as many people as we can, but a general number for that would be 560-0525, and they can put you in touch with that department.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It may give a referral number, but that's kind of how it is right now. So we can try to take care of everybody's needs. Well,
I will get that information. I will add it to the Durham Skyrider.
Thank you.
Definitely.
I work a lot. I have been a 4-H agent in the past, but currently now I'm in Family and Consumer Science. Mac is our new 4-H agent. I was in 4-H as a 4-H agent years ago, and in the last 10, 15 years have been concentrated in Family and Consumer Science, which in this case would encompass food and nutrition, food safety, and actually recently with the COVID situation, I've been part of the Post Partnership for seniors COVID-19 outreach group. And I wanted to mention that simply because they've been applying for grants and have gotten some funding from various sources with a focus on trying to assist the small businesses, in particular food businesses, food delivery businesses, and preparation businesses, as you had mentioned in your announcements earlier, of Black-owned businesses in Durham. So just trying to help support both sides, the food delivery as well as the food production, and then try to get the economy boosted up a little bit. So that is an outreach ongoing now, and also, as you mentioned earlier.
So what kind of help for the food delivery and food production people?
Well, as there are more meals ordered, that of course increases the businesses for Chicken Hut, for example, or for some of the other businesses. I don't have a full list. A great big help, and that's going to be going on for a few months. And I'll also mention, if someone has not applied for SNAP benefits and they think they might be eligible, whether it's a young family or I work a lot with the seniors, and a lot of the seniors don't apply. They say, well, I might not qualify. But this is a great time, and if you are interested, please give me a call. And we have an office at NC State where they can help you fill it out over the phone, send it to you in a self-addressed stamped envelope, and then you mail it to DSS, so you don't have to go down, and particularly if you have little kids, you don't have to drag them down there too. And so,
that is great.
Right. So, and this is English or Spanish, but let me give you my number, and it will, give you a little direction there, and we can, chat. We'll take our time now, but it's 919-560-0523, and that should ring to my desk, and it'll give a referral number.
Excellent. Yeah, we're definitely going to talk at length so I can get more details. That's wonderful, though.
Okay. Well, I do some work with caregivers. If any of your listeners are interested in maybe a 4 to 6 session support group on caregiving.
Nice.
Caregivers are really under a lot of stress, as you well know, and sometimes it's a matter of communication with the health community or trying to get family members involved in the care and taking a little bit of extra responsibility, particularly now in this pandemic.
It's really tough. I read somewhere that senior abuse is on the upswing because it's just people are just suffering so.
And I guess if you're caregiving, and particularly if you're caregiving for kids, kind of a sandwich generation, caregiving for kids as well as your parents or your great aunt or whatever, everybody's under a lot of stress right now. But be glad to offer that kind of series. We can do it on Zoom. Again, the 560-0523 number. Just give me a call. We don't do like an open invitation because we have to be careful. We don't get a Zoom bomb kind of situation. But if I can get the addresses and then talk to the person, and we'll put together a link, and glad to do that.
That's wonderful.
Also, just general grandparent support groups. There are multiple of those going on in Durham. One in particular that I like is trying to reach those grandparents who are actually having the grandkids live with them. And that's a challenge, particularly right now. It's always a challenge, but particularly right now. And sometimes the kids don't always understand. So why can I not go with mom or go with dad? Or why are they divorced? Or why do I have 2 homes? Whether it's a divorce involved, it's just they don't understand. So 2 books, and I'm hoping you can see this. One I particularly like is the Dinosaur Challenge. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can.
The author is Laurie Brown and Mark Brown. And the reason I like this is because it's devoid of any culture, any race, any age group. It's just talking about divorce between dinosaur families. So this is great for little kids. And another one, if you're just talking 2 homes. And it doesn't have to be a negative situation as to why they're with the grandparents. It could be somebody's in the military. There are various options, but this one is 2 homes. And because, again, the kids want to know. This is by Denton, Denton, last name Denton.
So are these books that can be found easily or Amazon, or does someone maybe from Welcome Baby or read them aloud online or something for the children?
No, I would be glad to entertain that if that would be of interest. We'd be glad
I
to.
think that would work because Dolly Parton has
Her library.
the Imagination Library where she reads classic children's books.
Well, I'm glad to do that if there's enough interest. Again, the 560-0523 number. And I actually read some books to my grandchildren, and that was lots of fun. And they were just into it. And I was a little surprised, really. But anyway, that was fun. And so also, if anyone's interested in, this is not necessarily a time for nutrition classes, but the reason I'm saying we can do this on a Zoom session is because we're kind of going back to things, 20, 30 years ago when processed food was real big. We got into a great health phase, and now many of us are having to rely on processed food that has higher sodium and higher sugar in it, where we were getting more into cooking healthy. So if anyone's interested in a session on lowering your sodium, we can do that, or lower.
I think that would be extraordinarily interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of fun because sometimes it's a matter of just looking at the labels and learning to read that, and they're wanting to update those labels some. So, and some you'll already see upgraded where it says added sugar grains, and that means that's more than natural. Like if you had canned peaches, you have your natural sugar in peaches, but you want to know how much was added. And that's where you can cut back your amount because we're at home more. And I don't know about you, but it's very tempting to eat more.
Yeah, it is. But guess what, Peggy?
Wow.
I am actually learning how to actually cook as opposed to merely warm up and stir.
Right. Making bread from scratch.
Yeah, I'm making cornbread. I'm making cakes. I'm giving them to the scene. I have there are these three 95-year-old ladies I'm trying to keep up with.
Oh, wow.
One is my cousin. One is my godmother. And one is my play aunt. And so I occasionally take them, little cakes or cornbread, and it cheers them up.
Oh, that is fantastic.
It cheers me up too, actually.
Yeah, you might have to taste it before you take it, just to be sure it's okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course.
Also, if someone has some food safety questions, I think we all have heard enough about, how to wash our hands and what to do and not to do. But if you kind of have questions or you're thinking, well, what if this and what if that, I'll give you a site at NC State. Co-op Extension is an extension of NC State and also A&T State University.
Okay.
And, our Nutrition Connection at NC State. This is a page of several links, so not just washing hands, and it's also English as well as Spanish. But it would be foodsafety.ces/COVID-19.
Wonderful.
So that's
Thank you.
foodsafety.ces/COVID-19. And CES stands for Cooperative Extension Service.
Okay.
So, so I would love to address any of these, and I like your suggestion of reading these online.
I think that would be nice because not everybody can order from Amazon right now.
Well, and how the libraries aren't open. That's always my first go-to, but that won't work right now.
Oh, wait a minute! Starting this Tuesday, you can go online to DurhamCountyLibrary.org. You can order books now, and they have certain hours where you can pick them up from your library. It's on the word page, the Durham Skywriter. So all the libraries, now Bragtown is only Tuesday through Friday, but the other libraries are Tuesday through Friday and also Saturday. Certain hours, though.
Well, I know we're all wanting to get inside that wonderful new library downtown.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Wait.
I know they're frustrated.
They are, but it's going to be great to get into that in whatever mode we're allowed to do it. And
definitely. I have a question for you, Peggy, since you deal with food safety. What foods are, I don't want to say dangerous, but what foods do you not recommend to have outside for long periods of time in the summer? I remember one summer there was a church gathering and people got sick from I think it was potato salad because it was out too long. So what foods should we be careful about in the summertime?
Well, it's best in the summertime, if it's really hot, not to have them out longer than an hour. Other times of the year, if you're inside, then you can go hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. It's usually pretty safe. One example I like to give, if I'm taking a covered dish and I'm going to be going to a service on a synagogue, a temple, a church, wherever. You may go to the service first and be sure and put that dish in the refrigerator. If you would do that typically at home, because just think about it. If it sets out an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you don't know how long it sat out before,
Yeah.
you're really taking a chance. Now, if you know someone in particular has prepared that dish and they're pretty attuned to food safety, then you might take a serving. But otherwise, just kind of really be careful of what you eat.
What about like it's going to sit for a couple? What if you put it on top of a bowl of ice? Because a lot of us have ice makers and an abundance of ice at home. So can you pour ice into a bowl and then put the dish of potato salad inside and keep it longer there for longer than an hour outside?
Outside?
Yeah, I mean if you have to.
Yeah, if it's on ice, that hour and a half might be okay. But the best way to check is to just stick a thermometer in there and check it. And one of the rules of thumb is to keep it under 40 degrees or over 140.
Oh, let me write that down.
Or over 145, but 40 is easy to remember there. And I know that seems a little overprotective, but if you've ever had food poisoning,
no, thank you.
It's not fun. But anyway, and many times people will leave things in their car and then go out and get it after a service and go back in. And it's not a great idea. And so it just depends on the dish. And I'm glad to answer individual questions. Again, if people give a call, that's another series of classes that we do. But one thing I would like to say, as far as if you are cooking food, cooking meats, cooking out or whatever, any food like a chicken or beef, any of that's been processed, like ground hamburger, ground turkey, ground poultry, it needs to be 165 degrees. Comes off the grill. Now, if you're talking beef stew, 145 is fine because it hasn't been processed, just like some of the other cuts, just straight cuts. But if it's a poultry, again, it needs to be 160 to 165, and with a thermometer. So I know we weren't going to talk about food safety, but seniors in particular are very sensitive to food poisonings, if you will. So just throwing that out there, and glad to answer any questions.
I appreciate it. I mentioned it because I live not too far from South Austin. By a couple of venues that I notice are opening now, and people are starting to have events, at least at one of the venues.
Great.
And so I can tell like they have food and stuff. So that just made me think again about food safety, because people are anxious to get out and
we all
meet together.
And one thing, many times you don't remember. Well, I won't remember what I ate yesterday. I have to really think about that. But I'm not eating out a lot, so at all, actually, except on the back porch.
Wow.
But,
same here.
It's just a matter of thinking. Okay, for like eggs with salmonella, for example, it may be 36 hours, so it's not like it's something you ate an hour ago. So there was an outbreak of a particular grocery store's eggs a few years ago. You may remember. Anyway,
somebody, I heard somewhere, if you get sick and you think you have stomach or food poisoning, somebody told me that you can't really know where you got it. You might say, "Oh, well, I ate at ABC place," and they said because what you just said, because it takes longer to get poisoned, you can't always blame the last place you ate,
No, you can't.
which surprised me.
Yeah. It just takes a while for the gut to process all this. And it's not necessarily just eating out. I know several instances of family situations, but it could just be like right now. There's something online I saw about some bagged salads, not in North Carolina, but in some of the central states. So it can be what's in the store. So keep up with that online about the food recalls.
Okay.
Well, I'm anxious to connect with any seniors who are interested in caregiving support, whether it's grandparents raising grandchildren support, or whether it's just caregiver of a friend or a neighbor, or particularly if you're doing it 24/7. And
That's a tough job. I've done it. It's a tough job.
It is. It is.
But it's fulfilling though.
It is. It is because
I enjoyed it.
it's they're very grateful in some situations, and lots of times you may have some situations when they're not as aware that you're there as you'd like to be, but you have a good feeling about it because you're contributing to their welfare, and that's great.
Right.
I will say, I heard you mention the Durham Center for Senior Life. This is kind of off topic, but I know we're about done. I heard through the grapevine that a Michael Jackson character was going to be included in this.
Really?
Character, I said, of course. But
awesome.
Have to be, duh. But yeah, so might be something to go and watch if you get a chance.
Definitely. I plan to go just to see what's going on.
They have a lot of great activities, and we've done some nutrition classes there and some caregiver things. But I appreciate so much you're giving me the opportunity to share today.
Oh, thank you for coming on. And I'd like to talk with you more often so that I can, because you have a wealth of information. And I also want to reconnect with the different people at the Cooperative Extension. I used to pretty much know everybody, and that's not true anymore.
Well, things change. That's okay. Sometimes
the more
they change, the more they stay the same. We have a new director now who's wonderful, Donna Rewalt, and she's kind of been in the trenches with us for 15 years or so. So she's not new to Extension, but she has some great ideas and outreach, and has been really supportive of all of these programs. And
I don't know where I know her name from, but I definitely know her name for sure.
We work a lot with community outreach and school outreach programs, PFAS, and various. But anyway, let me know if you want to talk again on a particular subject and want to go further with on what we've talked about today. But my email, if anybody is interested, is pkernodle, KERNOD, as in David, LE, at dconc.gov. It's just the general county website.
Okay. And, I just want to say hello to Mark Lee. He's wondering where the new director came from.
She has been in Durham for about 20 years. And she's actually used a lot of our services before she came to work with us. I know she went to Wake Forest. So yeah, but she's a Durhamite actually. I guess after 20 years, you're a Durhamite, huh?
Yeah, I consider myself a Durhamite, although I'm a Chicagoan / Durhamite.
Yeah, you don't have a total Southern accent.
Yeah. No, I probably won't. I probably won't be able to ever really develop a good one, but that's okay.
All right. You have a good radio and a TV voice. That's good.
Well, thank you. I have one more question.
All right.
So if people are interested in like the caregiver, like any classes that you're giving and caregiver or food safety or whatever, are they by request or do you have a loose schedule or how does that work?
Well, if I get enough calls and we get, 5 or 6 people, then we can do something.
Oh, good. Okay.
Typically, it's the support of one caregiver to another. And sometimes caregivers make connections and then they can kind of support one another. And when you're meeting person to person, that's a lot easier, obviously. But if people are interested in doing this and they want to, chat about it, I would love to.
Okay. And Mark wants to know, yes, these are the same folks that are related to or coordinated with 4-H?
Yes, 4-H, agriculture, and family and consumer science are the 3 basic formats for extension, and we have a family outreach, which of course family is, a basic premise of extension, and obviously welcome baby for caring for that. We have our master gardener group, as you well know, like 100. I think it's like 185 master gardeners. You can call in and get your questions answered, and so we have a lot to offer. We also have a community garden, Briggs Community Garden, and our full-time FCS agent is in charge of that. And so people will request and use a plot for, I think it's, not sure. I think it's like $25 once a year, maybe twice a year. But
it's really, really cheap. And I think that they give precedence to people who are extremely low income, in which case they probably don't have to pay much, if anything.
It's a matter too of being provided with whatever you need as far as seeds, whatever is available right now, the seeds or the plants. And there's sometimes there have to be, and if there's any kind of spray, they're organic. It's not like a lot of chemicals or anything.
Right.
And a lot of education on how to handle that and then how to harvest it. And we're, of course, have materials on how to use that safely. And so, yeah. Extension's been around for many years.
I'd love cooperative extension. I assume that each of the 100 counties in North Carolina has one.
They do. And then there's also one at the Cherokee Reservation in the southeastern part of the state. And that was established a while back. And so we just try to serve everybody if we can. And so let us know if there's something you're particularly interested in. There's so many things that can come under family. There's not much we can't do. And then we'll refer you if we feel like it's something that we can't do. Of course, Durham has lots of resources. So.
Oh, definitely. And Mark, if you wanted to, I know Peggy probably has to go, but Mark, if you'd like to join us, the link is on the Facebook. I don't post the link on YouTube because crazy people show up sometimes and bomb us. So come to the Durham Skywriter Facebook page if you want to join me after Peggy leaves, and we can talk some more about this Fayetteville Street Corridor Community Garden, which I know nothing about.
Another garden, great.
Yeah, I need to know about that, please. So if you have to, I know you're probably at work, Mark, but if you can, that would be awesome. But again, Peggy, thank you so much. I really love the cooperative extension. One of these days, I would like to talk to someone from maybe the Cherokee cooperative extension, just out of curiosity, just to know what's going on over there.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm sure. I'm glad to put you in touch. I'm not sure of the history of that or how it came about, but anyway, glad to put you in touch. But yeah, all 100 counties do have an extension, and North Carolina is unique because not all states continue to support an extension service. So
really,
yeah, that's sad. But so our state is really into that, and there are several other states that do that too. Virginia, of course, and New York, and several in the Midwest, and
the Cook County cooperative extension was pretty good when I was in Chicago, but they were having some racial. Sometimes a city like Chicago gets like a nice gem, you know. Like Chicago also had a wonderful trade school that taught like the electrical and the plumbing and all that. And then as Black people and other minorities start signing up, they start moving it further and farther away to keep it for themselves pretty much. And it's kind of unfortunate. They did that with there was a high school that was run by the Cooperative Extension in Chicago, and everybody had access to it. And then they realized, oh no, we're having too many other people. And so they started moving it. And it's too bad.
Well,
it's like people get jealous of the resources when they say, it's mine. It might not be outwardly racial. It just turns out being that way because it's like people just want to keep things to themselves.
Well, I will have to say that cooperative extension is part of USDA, so I don't think that was a co-op extension decision, but wherever it came from, I'm sad that it happened. But
me too.
Vocational has been such it goes up and down 35 years ago, vocational was in vogue, and then it kind of went away. But now
Mhm.
people are realizing the tech schools have so much to offer. And so, yeah,
You
vocational,
know, with those trades, those jobs cannot be sent overseas.
no, they cannot.
Hey, Mark, what's new?
Not much, but I don't know if you know this, and Peggy probably would agree with me. Hold on one second, turn down the volume. But I'm actually a big fan of the fact that we probably need to get back to doing vocational training in the high school. I know when I was in the high school back in the 70s, there was actually vocational training and a lot of vocational training. And those of us, well, those that didn't go to college, I went to college, but that's a way that they actually got some good training in things like auto mechanics and
Mhm.
cooking and a lot of other trades, welding, and a lot of them are making a whole lot more money than I'm making,
Oh, they're
and
making
have been
bunches
making a
of
whole lot of
money.
money than I have been making over the course of my life. So they actually learned a skill and used that skill while they were in high school, and in some cases they went to technical colleges. We know we have a very strong community college base here in
Oh, Durham
North
Tech,
Carolina, but
yes.
I just am a
Hmm.
big fan of us using the various kind of skills and getting trained into those things. And even some of the things that we're even doing, like this high tech kind of stuff, has got to be trained sometimes on the college level, in
Hmm.
addition to the tech level, the community college level. So definitely,
Absolutely.
and even some of the fields that are very important during COVID, like some of the not so much the doctors, they went to medical school, but some of the other fields are definitely trained in technical college
Hmm.
kind of aspects. So I just
Well,
think that we need to give them those shout outs and give opportunities to a lot of folks. And I
oh, for
sometimes think
sure.
that we don't do enough of that.
Well, I was shocked while talking to one of the gentlemen. See, I used to live right across the street from the old Hillside High School when I first moved to Durham. We lived at 404 Brant Street. And then when they, of course, built those new dorms over at NCCU, then of course we had to move. But here's the thing. I talked to one of the, what do you call those guys? I'll just say contractor guys. He told me that when they built the new Hillside High School way down on Fayetteville Road, he said that they asked the parents if they wanted the, because you see how gigantic the campus is. It's ridiculous.
Right.
They asked the parents, they said, well, do you want the auto and the print shop kind of training? They said, oh, no. They said,
Oh,
our kids are going to
no.
college. They don't need that kind of stuff. And I was like, that was kind of short-sighted.
So they turned down what again? I'm sorry, I missed that.
You know,
What did they turn down?
the auto mechanics, the print shop and the, what do you call that? Vocational, that you were just saying.
Right.
That the parent, I wasn't in Durham yet. I was still in Chicago at this time. But
home economics, woodworking classes.
all that, they said, no, our
Yeah,
kids are going to college. And college is great. I mean, I went to college
No,
too, but
no, I think college is great.
I
I have
love the
nothing wrong.
trades and
That's not
crafts
for
and
me
all
because
that.
I'm not the most physically fit, exercise prone person, but I have nothing with those that want to go into the military. Maybe not during wartime, but I definitely think the military serves its purposes and things of that nature. So I actually had a veteran on the podcast that I do yesterday, and he's doing some veteran resets in that area of New Jersey where he's at, because my partner in crime in that podcast is in New Jersey, so he booked that particular guest. But he definitely talked about, there a lot of different ways that we can get our education. And I mean, even the education when we're young, like I mentioned to you in one of the chats, I remember, I think it was in college. I don't think it was high school, but I was a 4-H counselor for a year,
Oh, wow.
1 year. And I got to teach, I taught the course in nature. So I had to know the trees and the birds and things of that nature. And I was not the most nature oriented person. I'm not going to lie. Miss Peggy actually went and got a book and studied it the whole time and tried to pass that knowledge on to the kids, because I just knew I needed that summer job and needed that summer cash. So I taught 4-H, and a good friend of mine, he was actually teaching archery. So we've actually
Nice.
lost touch over the years. But I remember those courses were the two that crossed my mind, was definitely archery and the whole Mother Nature kind of course. So,
Okay. Well, what is this community garden you mentioned, the Fayetteville Street
well,
corridor?
there's
Where
a
is that?
4-H fellowship. It's actually done through this, not 4-H, Fayetteville Street Fellowship. It's done through the city of Durham. I'm a member of it. Nadia Porter, who I know you know, is a
Yeah.
member of it. Angel Dozier, who I know you know, is a member of it. It's about 6 of us that are the fellows, and we've been actually doing research kind of around the Fayetteville Street area. And Stephanie, I think Stephanie's last name is Smith, is the one I think that first brought the garden to my attention, and she's one of the fellows as well. And I don't know the exact location, unfortunately, but they're actually doing this weekend a event. They're going to do as part of the giveaways that go on regularly at Visions of Africa and at the Chicken Hut. The Fayetteville folks will be passing out information about the voters information, so making sure people are registered. I think there'll be information about the census and things of that nature. I would think you would have been on the email list, because they put out an email MailChimp thing to a lot of people.
I am so far behind with my email.
So, you should have gotten that email.
I'll check, because I'm really I get dozens upon hundreds of emails a day. I can't possibly keep up. I do my best, but yeah, I will. So hook me up if you can, Mark.
I'll definitely do that.
Because I love when people. I'm sorry. What did you say, Peggy?
I was going to ask a question. Mark mentioned a podcast that he had a part of. So before you all leave, I'd love to know how to find that.
Sure. I can do that right now. It's actually 2 podcasts. One has got some serious North Carolina roots, and the other, well, actually both have serious North Carolina roots, but I do one on Monday evening, 7 to 9, called Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. So it's www.blogtalkradio.com/squared807. And that's how you can find us. And then we started this thing called the Next Level Podcast Network. So we're actually re-airing other people's stuff. Who knows? Maybe I can see if Pat wants her stuff re-aired, because we can re-air the Bull City Hangouts on this national platform.
So what is your last name if I need to search? I'm not sure I got all of it.
Yeah. And then the other thing is
wait, say it again, Mark. It's
blogtalkradio.com /squared807.
Gotcha.
And then there is a group out of Raleigh. Well, they're actually national, because one of the producers is out of India, so international. But they are IBM.TV, and they have doing a variety of programs on a regular basis using this same platform, StreamYard. And they have guests talking about all kinds of things, because they claim to want to serve the underserved. So on that same Monday afternoon, I do the radio show with Mark Lee, because they know about my radio background, and that's why they stuck that title on it. But then there is a chess show that they have. A young lady from South Africa does a music show. My friend Zach does a funk show on Sundays on that platform. And then there's a variety of other programming that they do on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, they do a Podcasters Thursday with different podcasters. So that's on IBM.TV. And apparently there was a very loose relationship they had with IBM, but after they talked and negotiated, they were able to keep the name of this YouTube channel. So if you do a YouTube search, like you find Bill City Notes, you will see IBM.TV. And they are airing a lot of their content from around the world, because they've got folks from, like I said, South Africa, Asia, India to be exact. There are some folks that have come on from China, I believe, and just all over the world, in addition to around the United States.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark.
Yep.
You're always full of the best information. I love when you drop in.
But, sometimes things even slip by me. I don't know how I missed, but they're giving the coupons on the thing that we're doing on Friday, this coming Friday, day after tomorrow. But somehow, until recently, I had missed Perkins, and I don't know how I managed to miss Perkins, but everybody's telling me that it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So I've definitely got to get by the Perkins folks, the Perkins Farmers Market or whatever that thing is over there off of Austin. But it's African-American owned market that's doing quite well. And there's also a produce box out of Raleigh.
Oh, South Austin, by Carpenter Fletcher Road.
Yeah, but that's the one. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
And then there's a great one that's out of Raleigh. I know the produce box because I bought my produce box that just got delivered. But apparently there's a African-American owned produce box called Tall Grass out of Raleigh. So I did not know about them until recently, but it's all serving Black farmers.
Well, all right now. Well, thank you. There was a Black farmers market this past week. At NC Mutual Plaza, which was awesome.
I heard that was amazing. I heard a lot of people were there, and I heard that they had great attendance, more attendance than they were expecting.
Oh, they did. They live streamed from there. And being from Chicago, believe it or not, the Black farmers from Mississippi would drive all the way up to Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah,
From Mississippi to Chicago, that's a
Mississippi.
long old ride.
But if you're like old school, like if you're my age or whatever, you'll realize that most Black people who aren't Caribbean are from Mississippi.
Right.
Not all my folks aren't. My folks are from Alabama, but Chicago has more Mississippians. It's like Chicago has more Polish people than Poland, almost, and more Mississippians than Mississippi.
There's a famous song about somebody being from Mississippi and Louisiana, and they actually settled in Texas. So they actually, I think, in one of their latest hits, mentioned their Mississippi, Louisiana background, and it's a famous
Okay.
pop singer. Can you guess what I'm talking about?
No. Who?
Beyonce. Beyonce, in one of her latest songs, talks about the fact that she is from Mississippi and Louisiana, and she talks about how she's Mississippi, Louisiana proud, and how she is actually. I was part of a study group that was going on, revolving around race relations and things of that nature, and they were doing that yesterday. And one of the facilitators mentioned that it's part of her growth, of being like one kind of acceptance of her heritage, and now being more acceptance and proud of her heritage. So one of her latest songs talks about being proud of the way her kids or her daughter's hair has developed, and proud of the features of her husband. So she talks about that in the song, and in that song also talks about being Mississippi and Louisiana proud.
Well, I grew up with a lot of Mississippians and people from New Orleans, because I grew up in a Catholic neighborhood. So I grew up with a lot of Haitians, folks, and a lot of Creole folks. So I don't want to make this show too long, because sometimes when people watch the replay and they're like, "Oh my God, an hour and a half." You know?
But the funny thing is that these things can take on a long time, because like I said, the show that's the Tuesday afternoon one, the one on IBM TV, is also using this platform, StreamYard. And I know I've done a couple of interviews, and they usually run just a little bit over an hour. But a couple of times I've gone there and I've get engaged, get into the conversation, and then you look at the clock and you're like, wait a minute, it's an hour and 10 minutes have already passed. So the time flies a lot faster than we expect. I actually had day before yesterday a good friend of yours on, Hadasaya Patterson. So she was on along with the lady from Soul, trying to think of the name of it, but it's a Wellness Yoga Institute in Greensboro. So the two of them were doing a whole healthy living kind of demonstration. So Hadasaya showed a very healthy salad that I probably needed to figure out how to actually fix for myself.
Okay. Now, Peggy, you gave your contact info. So you gave us your contact information. So, Mark, did you want to tell people where they can find out, or how they can find out about this Fayetteville Street community garden? If you don't have that info, it's okay, because I can find it later.
I don't have it right in front of me, but I can definitely reach out to Stephanie, and I can pass that on to your folks, either through the Facebook page or through some of our other things that I can type it in and everything. And,
you can add it to the comments here, because this is posted on YouTube and Facebook.
Okay.
So thank you so much, both Peggy and Mark, for joining me here on Bull City Hangout. It was super fun, as always. Be sure to drop by again. If you want to make it more formal by saying, I want to come by next Tuesday or whatever, you can do it that way too. I don't mind.
Well, this is so great to have this access during this crazy COVID time. I mean, I need to get out more. This is great.
Actually, you can have up to 6 people on StreamYard. So you can actually do this too. I mean, I can imagine the cooperative extension with everything you've got going. I can imagine you guys doing a show.
Well, back in the day, I used to do a radio show, but it was much simpler than this. You just turned on the microphone and went for it. So I'm a great admirer of your jumping in and doing this. I would say to Mark, too, you mentioned nature. If you want to get into bluebirds or more information about bluebirds, give me a yell.
I would definitely do that. I'm a big fan of nature. I've actually been saying on several of my platforms that I think that Mother Nature is, I hate to put it this way because it's going to sound almost bad, but in some ways, and I know we're in the middle of a very horrible pandemic, but I think Mother Nature is actually enjoying it, because I know that there have been reports of dolphins that have showed up in like Italy and other places, and even around here. I know that I've literally, I was walking yesterday and I stumbled across a rabbit, and the rabbit looked at me like, "What are you doing here?" But
My territory.
Yeah, nature is enjoying our absence for sure.
For sure, for sure.
So they don't miss us at all. But again, thank you so much for being on Bull City Hangout. I invite both of you back whenever you want.
okay, sounds good. I will definitely try to make an appearance sometime back. And Peggy, we'll have to get you on, even though it's I'm here in Durham. My co-host is in New Jersey, but we have guests from through all over, including people that travel through Durham. So I'll have to get you on the podcast at some point or on the streaming show. So I'll have to definitely make you have that invitation to you as well for the one that I do, or the two that I do is, and get you on that. And then the other thing I was going to tell you is that a good friend of mine has been doing canning, and they've been, I don't know if they're doing it because of what they learned through 4-H, but they're having way too much fun because they sent me some pictures of what they've canned, and I know they've canned cherries, they've canned, I think, some tomatoes. They've just been canning galore. I keep telling them that they're becoming the canning queen of Durham.
Oh, you know what, Peggy? You know, a lot of people are gardening now that didn't garden before. I think that might be something that maybe the Cooperative Extension can offer, classes on canning, because we're gonna have these massive harvests.
Yeah. Well, we have done this in past times, and we'll be probably doing some of those online. One of my coworkers will be doing that. Our full-time FCS agent, who actually runs Briggs Gardens, so
Good.
that's feasible. But if you just and remember freezing. Don't forget about freezing things. That kind of information is on NC State's site, and you don't have to have special equipment. So
I need to learn about that too. I don't know much about that either. So I will, and I will share that information with my audience. So let's talk again soon. Thank you so much, Peggy. I really appreciate you being here.
Bye, guys.
Okay, take care.
Take it easy.
And Mark, I will see you later as well.
We'll go see each other out and about. You know, I'm not used to not popping around town and seeing you like I usually would because of, folks ain't traveling as much as they used to. But I know you're probably still. Are you still doing the DJ thing at the bus terminal?
Not until things get better. And it's frustrating because I look forward to that every third Friday from what was it? I can remember now. 3:30 to 6.
Something like that. Yeah,
I can't even remember.
Like well,
well, soon.
I'd have to juggle stuff off and move some books, but I'm actually thinking about I might have to get into some of your field because I went and the bad thing about being in lockdown and everything with COVID and just that is it give you spare time, and spare time means that you buy things. So if I've got a backdrop in the back you can't really see a backdrop that I bought that I'm use every once in a while for my Zoom calls, and I've got a Newmark party mix. So I've actually got like some of the equipment and everything like what you got. So,
but in terms of overspend, you need to do what I'm doing. I put in a new kitchen floor. Okay. And I'm painting my third bedroom, my spare, and I'm also going to do some damage control. I have some bug problem in the third bedroom, and I'm going to replace one of the baseboards and repaint the whole room. So that keeps me from overspending, and that is fixing up my house, making it pretty.
Sounds like a plan.
Learning how to cook.
I need to do some of that. So, and I actually went. And some of this overspending is stuff that I needed to do a long time ago because I think it's about maybe 3 weeks to a month ago. I bought a blender, so I've been having fun making smoothies. That's
the next thing I need to learn how to do. Turn me on to some recipes, Mark, because I have one of those bullet things, and I don't know what to put in it.
Well, I've been like I said, I put in some bananas and some blackberries and some cherries and get that. Sometimes you can do it with. People forget that it can actually be a good smoothie with just good old-fashioned water. Now, I've done the milk smoothies too, and they are probably better. But you can also just do it with just regular water and ice, and it still makes the good stuff and everything.
I need some recipes, Mark. Help me out.
Yep.
But let's bid each other adieu, and I will talk to you really, really, really soon. Thanks a lot for being on the show.
No problem. Glad to do it.
Okay. See you later. All right, folks. That was super fun. So this is Bull City Hangout. It's going up to 87 today. Tomorrow it's going up to 80. You might have a thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon. Now, be sure to read the Durham Skywriter, that's Durham, North Carolina's online community paper. I invite you to do that. And you can do just like Peggy and Mark did and just drop in and share. I mean, they were sharing information I had, like I said, I'm just one person. I can't possibly know it all. And I love it when people like Peggy and Mark just jump on and just tell me about all kinds of stuff that I need to know about and that I can share with you. So you have a beautiful day. I will see you tomorrow at noon. It might be a little bit afternoon because if I do play music tomorrow at the Durham Center for Senior Life at their event, I haven't heard back from them yet. Peggy did say there's going to be a Michael Jackson character there, so they might not need me. But if they do, then I'll be doing my show probably at 1 o'clock tomorrow. But I'll let you know before then. So, ciao for now, and I will see you later.